Might be a little bit, oh! Last year, DJI gave us this, the DJI Avata, a so-called FPV drone that you could do cinematic close proximity flying with. And the idea was great, combining DJI's amazing camera system with a drone that basically anybody could fly. Now, as any experienced FPV pilot will tell you, it's really difficult to fly a quadcopter or drone acrobatically and get, you know, some amazing shots. So what DJI did with the Avata was build in loads of computerized flight computer trickery so that they could actually get a beginner, you know, doing stuff that they could never have dreamed of doing before, like flying through gaps and, you know, doing mild acrobatic kind of maneuvers. Now all this comes at an expense. Here's the Avata here. It's absolutely covered in mud. I think the last time I flew it, it took me so long to find it because it hasn't got a beeper on board. So I thought I'd punish it by leaving it covered in mud. But anyway, it doesn't fly that great. It doesn't fly like a true FPV drone. It's heavy. It's got an annoying yaw washout problem that happens if you turn too fast. So you can't fly this, you know, like you would fly something, you know, that you might have built yourself, or you even buy it as a binder fly. So enter this, the Defender 25 from Iflight. Here it is, brand spanking new. It's a really nice design actually. So same sort of design. It's a lot smaller than the Avata. Get over there. The power system configuration is in pusher format, so it's facing downwards. We've actually got this kind of modular battery that they're using. Normally on a normal FPV drone, and you'd use lipos like this, and they just strap to the top of a quadcopter like that. So this, I suppose, is iFlight's way of trying to make it more consumery and more like the Avata that uses, you know, dedicated batteries. But they haven't stopped you using normal batteries, because you can actually just plug in normal batteries using a standard XT30 connector there. Don't know how you'd mount a battery on there, but that's something we'll look at later. Great thing about this drone is it is under the 250 gram limit with this battery. So you can basically legally fly this more places than you can fly the Avata, which weighs, I don't know, it's like nearly 500 grams or something. This battery is a 4-cell 550 milliamp hour battery. There's a bigger battery available as well, but it will push it over the 250 gram limit. So how much does all this extra casing weigh? So this is a 550 4-cell, so that's weighing in at 71 grams. And if we get another 4-cell battery that I use for my other similar kind of weight builds, this is a 660, that is weighing, you know, quite a bit less, and you're obviously getting 110 milliamp hours more. And this battery will just fit on there. It will be, you know, actually, you know, obviously a bit lighter, and then you can plug this into the XT30 there. So you might have to put some Velcro or something to mount that, but that gives you options. You can still use, you know, your 4-cell batteries. Don't have to buy these, but they're not that expensive. I think they're about 15 quid, something like that. I mean, if you wanted to increase the runtime even more, you could put a 720 on there, and then that is going to be still under 250, and it's going to give you even more flight time. But we'll see how it does on the standard battery, and then we'll try some other ones as well in the flight tests. So what else then? So obviously this is an O3 air unit equipped quadcopter, so you're getting that lovely super smooth stabilized footage. It's, you know, it's got 20 gigabytes of storage on board. Obviously the air unit's been out a while now, and I've got it on some of my other builds as well, all my other builds now, because it's just so damn good. And that's the thing about DJI, they absolutely excel at camera and transmission systems, not so much flight. So also in the box you get a charging adapter, because obviously you can't just use a normal charger like my Toolkit RC M6D. Can't use that just with that connector, so you actually have to use this adapter board. So, you know, if you've got multiple batteries, I think there's a solution. There must be a solution to charge multiple batteries, because having one of these for every single battery is going to be a bit annoying. But I like it. This is such nice quality, this stuff. It really is. And that battery just fits on the top of there. You push down the XT30 connector on that, and then also in the bag of accessories you've got a balance cable extension, which you would put in there, and then an XT30 to XT60, I think that is, which would go to the charger. So let's show you that. So here we go then. So these are the two patch leads you get in the box. You also get another one for XT30, but it just means you can literally just push your battery down onto there. As soon as you've done that, you'll see you've got the 4 cells shown there. Actually a bit higher voltage than I'd normally expect, about 3.8 for storage charge, but there's no dodgy cells or anything, which is always good. So it's a neat solution. I do like this, I've got to say. It is pretty cool, but it's obviously an extra big thing that you've got to carry around with you to charge that battery. So let's get it on charge. So this isn't actually an LIHV battery. This is a normal LiPo. So, you know, it's going to be slightly down on voltage compared to some of the stuff, but we'll set it to 0.5 of an amp, get that charging, 16.8 volts, and that shouldn't take long at all. You also get spare props and some other hardware as well. And what is that? Defender 25 is a bind and fly quadcopter, so basically the idea is, yeah, you'll need a radio or controller to use this. The DJI one that comes with the Avata will work. If you're using that, when you order this, just select DJI. There'll be a bunch of different options. I went for the Crossfire one because I absolutely love Crossfire. The range and penetration and kind of everything about Crossfire is lovely. Plus you get some lovely telemetry out on the screen here. It works perfectly with Betaflight. It's just these are just brilliant radios. Also, it kind of goes without saying, you're going to need some DJI goggles. I don't think there's any other versions of this other than the O3 Air unit at this moment. But so this is what we're going to set it all up with. DJI goggles V2, TBS Tango, Crossfire radio, and obviously our Defender. I've actually looked underneath here to try and find out how the hell would you bind it, because normally the receiver's just kind of sitting on the top somewhere. But you can actually see here, they've got this little kind of hole right at the front. You can see that little gold thing there. That is actually the button you press to bind it, and then you can actually see the antennas as well. It's just a simple Crossfire sort of 868 megahertz dipole in there, so that should work pretty well. Not sure where the O3 antenna is yet. It must be inside. Battery's finished charging. It's only made 16.7 volts though. What's going on there? So I'm going to put my battery on here. It doesn't actually connect anything to the balancing leads on the actual drone itself, like the DJI stuff would, because it kind of monitors each cell in flight, whereas this wouldn't. It just literally just monitors the main battery connector, which is there. So if we just plug that in, get our lovely Betaflight sound. There's a couple of LEDs on here. That's the receiver up there, and you've got like a green light at the back, which is pretty cool. So what we need to do now is we need to get a fan, because these transmitters, the video transmitters, get pretty hot. So really we need to just have that cooling that. There's the O3 Air unit there. You can see they've put a rubber bung in the USB-C socket, which is really neat. They don't come with that as standard. Well, they didn't when I bought a lot of O3 Air units in the beginning. So that's good because water won't get in. Let's fire up my transmitter, and then we need to get this into bind mode. Just going to use a little tool to press the bind button in there. Right, we can see it's flashing. So now over to the transmitter, push the menu button, go into the Crossfire menu, and then our Tango 2, and then we can go into bind, and it should do some stuff, and then it'll probably ask us to update the software or something. There you go, enter update micro RX, hit enter, just let that do its thing. It's important to do this obviously on a full battery. Right, that's done, so it looks like it's just booting up. The receiver should be starting, and then we should get a link. That's going green, and binding is complete, so we can come back out of here, see what's set up already. There you go, it's actually all set up. So we've got our RX battery voltage, you can see there, current, capacity, transmitter power's 250 milliwatts. And then we can go to the next. I've just got GPS locations and stuff, but this hasn't got GPS, so don't worry about that. Next, we need to activate the air unit. To do that, we need to obviously get underneath and remove that little bung. Where is it? Over this side. Take that out, so it exposes the USB-C connector. And then on the computer, we want to use DJI Assistant 2. Google it; it'll come up. You want the consumer drone series, not the FPV series. So we just got that plugged in. Now the good thing about DJI stuff now, with the O3 in particular, we should see an LED around there. So you don't need a battery connected to activate or get the files off of the O3 Air unit, which is unlike a lot of the other systems like Walks now. I think the earlier Vistas did that as well. So it's super cool because you don't need your fan, you don't need to be wasting your LiPo power. It will just activate and do all the software updates you need to do. You can see now it's appeared on the computer, so we'll go over to here. It shows you your email address, but basically that's how quick it does it. So it's now connected to my account. I don't necessarily agree with this. I'd rather it be completely anonymous, but you know, that is how it is, unfortunately. Now we'll do a little cycle and then it will come back, and that is the next stage where you can actually update the firmware. So it's just loading, and it's saying, yeah, so we're on, like, this one's actually on 0005203. Blimey, that's That's really old one. So we need to upgrade it. We'll upgrade it to the latest one. This here says device powered on with sufficient battery, but you don't need to worry about that. You can just literally just do it without a flight battery connected in. So I'm going to get my flight battery back on charge because we've taken a little bit out of that now. There we go. That's all done. Right, so we're going to bind it to the goggles now. I've just turned the goggles on. They're powered up. And actually, if you look at the bottom of the drone, they've marked out the bind button. I mean, everything is kind of thought of here. That's what I like about Iflight stuff. It's really good, but it is tricky to get in there. Kind of got to get in that hole and go at an angle. So I'm going to put the camera down for a sec. Pressed it. It's actually really easy to get in there with those little tweezers. So you can see it's flashing now. Once that's flashing, just push the button on here. And that should bind it. There we go. So we can see something. It's alive. So, as expected, this doesn't work out of the box. If I push my arm button, nothing happens on the quad. Should really move those. If I press my arm button on the transmitter, nothing happens. So I'm going to have to plug this into Betaflight to actually see what's going on and get it kind of sorted. But I kind of always would do that anyway. So that's the thing with this stuff, guys. It's not going to be completely plug and play. So download, install Betaflight. I'm going to cover that. There's loads of videos about that. It's working. The quad is plugged in. There's a little USB socket right at the back. That's for the flight controller. That obviously just plugs into the computer. But you can see it's all active. Everything's the right way round. So you're going forward, you're going left, you're going right, you're going back. You know, yours okay. Everything looks good there. It's pretty much calibrated. It could probably do with being recalibrated actually. I'll calibrate the accelerometer. That's that done. It's nice and flat on there. And then we need to go to the receiver tab and see what's going on. Yeah, look, something's really not right. The receiver's being powered up, which is good. It's actually being powered over the USB. There's no flight battery plugged in. But yeah, throttle is connected to roll. So I think really this is going to be down to the channel map. So we want to set this to this one here, Spectrum, that standard one. Save that, refresh. I think we should be in the right zone now. There you go. Throttle's okay. So you've got your roll, left and right. You've got pitch as well. We've got throttle and we got yaw as well. Everything looks right there. I'm going to have a look in the mode tab because, yeah, look, it's literally only got angle mode configured, which is a good thing for safety. But if it worked out of the box, that would be okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these down to the lowest point, because when I move my switch, see this yellow thing at the bottom moving, that little pointer, that is corresponding to my aux switch there. So what I usually have is angle mode on the first position, and then basically anything else is just air mode. So you always know with my quads that it's always going to be that way around. So that's that sorted. The arm's configured okay, so as I'm turning that on and off, that's going in there. It just says red because it won't arm. There's no flight battery on here anyway, so it will never arm. And all that talking is her chatting away to herself. The other thing I'm going to add is beeper. So if I hit add range there, and then I'm going to push the button on my remote here to trigger that, which I'm going to put that up there, so it's not going to be on all the time. So that's the beeper. The other thing I'm going to configure is flip over in a crash, so hit add range there. I've got another button on the side here. That's my turtle mode, or, you know, flip over in a crash kind of mode. So I'm going to slide that slider over to there, and then that's off there and then on. So that's good. So obviously you can flip the drone over in a crash. It gives you those features, so it's upside down. So you've got to press that to turn the turtle mode on, then you've got to arm it, and then it will give you some, basically the ability to just chuck like huge amounts of power to one side, so it'll flip over if it's upside down basically. What's also nice about this is it's got a barometer, so you'll actually be able to see your height, your altitude, which you otherwise wouldn't on other flight controllers because they don't have a GPS. So for that, I'm going to go over to the OSD section and click on altitude. Yeah, it's added it down there. So I'm going to move that up to the top. Now there is another update to this, which I'm not going to do this time around because it's going to be a bit more long-winded, but there's a beta version of Betaflight now, which allows you to have a HD OSD as well. So, but I'm going to leave that for now, and we'll just crack on. I've added pack voltage on here rather than just the single cell average. I like to have that so I can just see what's going on. But yeah, effectively, we're now ready for a little test, and I'll just get it fired up in here and just do a quick hover test in here. Right, so if we hit arm now, motor start, we're in angle mode. She flies! It is pretty loud. I don't think it's as loud as the Avata, but it is pretty loud. So it looks okay, quick little hover test. I'm going to change some settings on the transmitter now, the O3 unit. And look, I can just plug in another battery in there. It's absolutely fine. So maybe like a bit of Velcro or something to stick that on if I want to use like batteries like that. But anyway, do some quick changes to the settings. All I want to do really is just to make sure, you know, we've got stabilisation turned on and it's 4K 60. And I'm not going to do any mods to the actual power yet. Or am I? Right, what a better place to test it than a kid's playground. That would not be good. Mind you, it has got pretty good water protection. The air unit's kind of shielding the flight controller. Fire it up. I think our camera tilt might be a little bit high. Let's get that down to something a bit more sensible. Apologies about the lighting, guys. It's not, you know, obviously the best light for this, but I'm doing my best to get this video out as soon as possible, really. Right, let's have a little pootle around in angle mode then. Well, it feels like it's got plenty of power. Nice. Oh, that flies nicely. Do you know what? I'm probably, I don't know what, it feels around just below 50% kind of throttle, that sort of kind of, you know, area. But that is super nice. Super nice. We're drawing about 6 amps. I don't know, you know, how accurate that actually is, but yeah, 6 amps on the 6 amps just for kind of like a light cruise. That's a nice little cruiser though. All right, let's give it a bit of air mode. Yeah, you know, it's got some it's got a bit of power. But you know, you can chuck it around. Actually, it's not too loud as well. Can do that, but it is a little bit heavy. But for what it is, I mean, you know, out of control spin. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And actually, inside the house, it did seem a lot louder than, you know, than it was. Whoa! I mean, what other drone can you do that with? That's pretty cool, isn't it? This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a lot of fun, guys. Totally going to be a lot of fun. I can already see it now. Straight out. I'm loving this. Amazing little quad. It doesn't lack power. With an HV battery, I think it would be better, but this is quite a good weight. I've totally lost track of flight time. I just got no idea what flight time. That was going to be a bit optimistic, wasn't it? This is good though, because it's like sort of, you know, kind of better than a tiny route. You've got way better video footage than a tiny route, but whoa. Well, 3.6 volts. Whoa! Yeah, that was Showing up my flying skills now, or lack of them. See what I mean about the beeping? You can just literally just, you know, see. Oh, but what a great bit of kit! I'm absolutely loving that. That's amazing. What damage have we done, if anything? Can't see any damage to it. So I'd have to check what the flight time was because I wasn't really concentrating. Yeah, it's used about 420 milliamps so far. So I mean, you know, it's still got a little way to go. Right, let's see how much of a flight it can actually do without crashing the thing. It's just too much fun though, that's the problem. I'm having too much fun. The light is definitely going though. Right, we haven't got much of a battery. Battery's not completely fully charged either. But do you notice the exposure? As soon as you arm it, it comes up. It does feel like it's on rails though. I don't know how much I'm going to get away with, but excellent. Might be a little bit, oh! Don't think we want to fly up there. You can do some pretty gnarly manoeuvres, but it's probably not what it's really designed for. It's definitely like a proper cruiser. Obviously, you know, it's sort of designed cinematic, but I tell you what, Iflight do know what they're doing. Oh. It's going to end bad, wasn't it? Right, have we got any damage? That was quite a hard whack, that. Don't see anything. Goes for inspection back at home, I think. Oh, I need another one of these batteries. No damage whatsoever. It's still absolutely fine. I mean, amazing. What a blast. This thing is brilliant. It's going to be so much fun. I also love the fact, I mean, this is not just this, but any O3 equipped kind of quadcopter, you can just literally plug in a USB-C cable straight into the computer without turning it on, and you can get all the footage off. It even works on your phone as well, so you can literally just have a smartphone and grab all your footage just in case you lose something. But what I will say is it's super stable. Even after the crashes, I didn't lose any footage, which is more than can be said for some digital VTX systems, mentioning no names. Walk snail. So flight performance is really good. I mean, it's just Betaflight. It just flies so damn good. You know, the Avata or DJI stuff just can't compare. It just can't compare to how well. I mean, I don't even. What do they use? What do DJI use as a flight system? It's their own proprietary system or something like that. Maybe it is a version of Betaflight. I don't know, but this just flies like you'd expect it to fly. Okay, look, you could build something like this. Like if you're skilled, you could say skilled, but like you could build something similar, like I've done here. Prop guards are all over the place, but yeah, you could build something similar and it'd probably perform pretty well. Then you've got the ability to make it exactly how you want. This thing weighs like 200 grams with a battery on it, so it's light and pretty powerful. But I've got to say, I think this flies better This flies better than my DIY stuff. So Iflight just really know what they're doing. This is really the thing. And at this stage, kind of in FPV, how it's kind of developed over the years, it's actually hard to beat a bind and fly model these days. Like, yeah, you can always build something and tinker with it if that's what you like doing. I mean, you know, comparing this to the Avata is a little bit unfair because the Avata is more of a kind of consumer drone with a kind of FPV twist, whereas this is kind of like, you know, a pure kind of more of a pure FPV sort of experience. These things have been around for quite a while. Cine Whoops, they're generally called. But yeah, I'm super stoked with this. I think it's going to be great, and I want to try different batteries on here as well, because I do believe that we could probably, you know, improve the power to weight ratio a little bit with our HV battery, get a bit more power on there as well. But we need to figure out how to mount it. I don't. Ideally, what you could do is you could have just like two strap, kind of, you know, take these off, and then somebody could make sort of some kind of, you could 3D print maybe like a strap like holder, so that then you could actually, you know, strap a battery on. Anyway, projects for another day. I've absolutely gone for it with this video to get it out today. This turned up this morning. So yeah, apologies if I've missed anything. Join our Discord if you want to find out more. We're chatting about this at the moment. There's a couple of us that have got these now, and we're just kind of having some chats over there. So join the Discord, links below. And yeah, that's it for this one, guys. More coming. Catch you next time.